Panther Nation Podcast. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, cut it. Cut right. And I would like to introduce one of the hottest podcasts in Carolina history. Let's go. Yeah. Talk less chat. We got time to chop it up. Talking analytics and fantasy draft. You know what's up. Panther Nation representing. Cause this is where we talk that. Talk that's so incredible. Make them rewind that talk back. Pause. Talking Panthers football. We discussing it all. On and off the field. You know exactly who to call. You know we the #1 podcast. Competition is non-existent. You need to stop that. Pause. It's an honor to be a Panther fan. Pause. At Bank of America, that is where we ball. Coming to the jungle, then you gonna feel the pause. Winning the trophy for the city, it is the cause. Black, white, and blue, we going Carolina strong. And this is the conversation where everyone belongs. Discussing all the numbers and topics, you know we got it. We the hottest podcast, and we poppin'. Let's go.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Yo, what's cracking? It's a boy Rashad. Goodness gracious. I'm trying to eat this food. And I was just with y'all on the morning huddle. I just finished my coffee, real talk. I just finished my coffee, and here we are. Ian Rapoport is reporting that in a surprise, not really a surprise for those that watch PNP. He says a surprise, it ain't a surprise to me. It ain't a surprise to anybody that watches this channel day in and day out that the Carolina Panthers are closing in on a hire, and it's Bucs offensive coordinator Dave Canales as their new head coach, sources say. He's a first-time coordinator. He's working Tampa this year, especially with Baker Mayfield, stood out. So, again, we talked about Canales at length on the Tuesday show. It's not a surprise, man. Shout out to y'all that watch this show. You're not surprised. I mean, you're not surprised. It only makes sense. He's the only offensive guy that was remaining in the candidates. And what happened to daggone Mike Vrabel? Did they interview him? Like, did they even talk to Vrabel? They must have talked to him, and then right after that, they was like, we going with Canales. Like, I don't even know what happened with Vrabel. Like, we was just about to interview him. We interviewed him today, apparently. Did that meeting happen? Like, did that even occur? Now, how all of a sudden is it that and listen, I trust Rapoport's reporting because I feel like Rapoport is almost like a tempered defender. I feel like so any news that gets leaked, it always comes out in a positive light for Rapoport. And so I feel like this is real news. You know what I mean? I feel like this is real news. And I trust Rapoport. Obviously, he's a respected reporter. But what the hell happened to Mike Vrabel? What happened to Mike Vrabel? That's what I want to know. We was just talking about how he was, could have been the guy. And, don't know what happened there. But shout out to Benjamin Epps. I hope it's Epps. He says, feels like we just flipped the coin and now we need to wait 2 years to find out if it's heads or tails. Man, I'm gonna talk about some positives because y'all, it's a lot of negatives about him, and I'm gonna talk some positives. Chris Mack says Nicole about to learn some Spanish real fast. Boy, y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all gotta chill, bruh. Y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all gotta chill. But I'm about to spin it. I'm about to spin into some positives. 408 people, 425 people and counting in this. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, get in the comments. Help us get to 22,000 subscribers. Help us get there. We need to get there. Let's make it happen. Hit the sub button. The game guy says Vrabel started talking and Temper said, hell nah. Yeah, but that's probably what happened. You never know. But yeah, definitely pros and cons to this situation for sure. for sure. My man says, Black Ball Enterprise says, I never respond to your tweets, man. If I responded to everybody's tweet, I would be a full-time Twitterer. I can't do it. I can't respond to everybody, bro. I try. I can't respond to everybody. But here we go. So let's talk about this Canales situation. He is now our head coach, the fourth head coach under full-time head coach under, I feel like it's the fourth. What is it? Yeah, Rivera, Matt Rule, Reich, and now Canales, fourth full-time head coach in the Dave Tepper era, third one that he selected specifically. And here, let's talk some positives, because again, there's a lot of negativity out there, but I'm gonna give you some positives. Positives are that here's the thing: he's been in the division. He knows the division. He knows the Bucs inside and out. He just came from there. He went against that defense every day in practice. He prepared and game planned for the NFC South opponents 2 times a year. So he knows the Saints well. He knows the Panthers personnel well. So he knows where we're weak. He knows where we need to get better. He got Baker going. I feel like he could get Bryce going. Okay. So here we go. So shout out to Carlo. He just sent me a text. This is from Mike K on Twitter. Mike K, who works for the Charlotte Observer, says he just chatted with veteran NFL position coach familiar with expected new Panthers head coach Dave Canales, and he says in his coaching style, he says Dave Canales is an excellent play caller. He brings a lot of energy to the meetings with the players. He's very, very positive, an uplifting kind of guy. Let me get the rest of it. He's very sophisticated with his screen packages, his play action passes, marrying the run game, his pass game. One of those best young minds. Boy, does that sound familiar. Boy, does that sound familiar. All right. Says I cannot believe he just called plays for 1 year with the product that he just put out on Tampa. It's very impressive. This guy, sky's the limit. He's the right type of guy to go through a rebuild with. If that's the case, because of his optimistic attitude and his work ethic. I mean, you gotta listen. I like it. You gotta. Again, I've been saying this. I've said this multiple times, and I said it earlier in the day when we had the morning huddle. We're going to get a guy that is going to be hired maybe a year ahead of when he's supposed to be hired, and that is okay as long as you get the right guy. We already know it's going to be instant improvement on the offense as long as he can get the personnel. If he can get his personnel, we know who's going to call plays. We know he's calling plays. We know he's going to call the plays. Now, the question is, who is going to be his defensive coordinator? Can he keep an Evero around? Is that a part of his plans? Sure. I hope so. I hope that's the plan. That is, of the guys that are available, that is the best case scenario, is for us to get a Canales, and it's for us to have Israel Evero to keep the continuity on that defense and fix the offense. And yes, another pro is, yes, he could talk to Mike Evans. Hey, Mike, bro. Hey, listen, you want to stick it to the Bucs? They didn't want to extend you. You remember you wanted to be a lifetime Buck. And they didn't want that. They didn't want you, bro. But I want you. Pause. Come to Carolina. And let's get it right. Let's take our talents to Carolina and get this thing right. That's one step. That's at least a foot in the door, Mike Evans. That's a foot in the door. Is it going to happen? Maybe not. I think it's a long shot personally, but I think it can happen. A long shot. It's a long shot. It is a long shot, okay? But anything is possible. Anything is possible, man. So I am encouraged by this hire. I like the hire. Of the guys available, I like this. I'm not mad at the Dave Canales hire. And I got one of my best friends, my line brother, is a Bucs fan. And he called me. He called me at 12 o'clock as soon as it happened. Yo, hey, man, here's another positive. Here's another positive. Hey, man, y'all got a good one, man. Y'all just gutted. This was a chess move. Y'all just gutted us. Because now our offensive mind is gone. This Baker, we still got Baker, but we don't know if we don't have an offensive guy now. So you just gutted. Now we got to revamp our entire offense. You just gutted us. So that's one gone from the Bucs. So from what my boy just told me, the Bucs, he was next man up for them. They were probably gonna can Bowles in a couple of years. Hell, Bowles was on the hot seat. If they didn't win the division, Bowles was on the hot seat. Canales was the next guy. So you just gutted them. That's a positive. You know what I mean? So he knows the division. Again, the intimacy of knowing the division, all you gotta do is win the division. That's a big plus. You win the division, you get in the playoffs, and anything can happen. Anything can happen now. You know what I mean? So I think there are some positive aspects to it. Yes, the negatives are his inexperience, right? He only called plays for 1 year. But I know head coaches that never call plays that got a chance at head coaching and they're calling plays. Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay before he got to the Rams, never called plays. You know what I mean? So this was Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, again, there's a lot of guys. Well, Dan Campbell don't call plays now anyway. That's Ben Johnson. But there are a lot of guys that don't have a long track record, but that's okay. That's okay, bro. You don't. Sometimes you got to take a chance. And I think this is a calculated risk that can pay off from Dave Tepper. This is a calculated risk. This is a calculated risk because guess what? If it pay, you can't, y'all. And putting this in the mind of a hedge fund manager, right? In the mind of a David Tepper, and this is probably what Sportsology said. Yo, you can't, if you want a guy, and you can't wait until the guy is the guy. If you wait until the guy is the guy, you won't have the chance to get the guy. Come on now, is that a word? Do I need to preach to y'all? If you wait until the guy is the guy, the Carolina Panthers, won't have the opportunity to get the guy. Because guess what? The buzz is out there. Case in point, look at Ben Johnson right now. Look at Ben Johnson right now. He's the guy. And guess what? We can't get the guy. Because guess what? He's going everywhere else. You can't wait to get the guy. Sometimes you got to take that risk, and that's how I feel. And I feel good about it. I feel good about it, bro. I feel good about it. I feel good. I think Canales was the next. And listen, once I got the call from my guy who was a Bucs fan, that gave me more. I was a bit on the fence. I'm not gonna lie. It gives me a bit more confidence because one, you gut the opponent, you gut a division opponent. That's a chess move. You know what I mean? And maybe and listen to this. Maybe what if Sportsology is the guy, is the folks that pointed this out? What if Canales wasn't even on a temp radar? Because I saw that. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let me hit some of these super chats real quick because I'm behind on super chats. Y'all coming through crazy. I appreciate that. Real quick, hit that like button and subscribe button. We got mad people in the building. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. All right, so let me hit some of these super chats. Possible is that this wasn't David Tepper's guy, and this was Dan Morgan's guy, and this signs to David Tepper falling back. I don't know, but I would push back a little bit on that, in that he is an offensive mind, right? If we were to go defense, then I would agree with you. But since he is still an offensive mind, I would say Dave Tepper had a piece of this hiring. That's just my opinion. But truth be told, the rumor is that Dan Morgan did have say in these interviews. He's been in the interview rooms. He's been out there. He's had a say. So we'll see. We'll find out when they have the introductory press conferences, and we'll see how things go. All right, J Rock, George. J. Rock Chambers says everybody got to realize he's about to unlock Bryce. I hope so. And that is the point. At least for the next 2 years, we're going to find out whether Bryce is a bust or whether Canales is him. If he can get Bryce turned around as he's done with Geno, as he's done with Baker Mayfield, and I get it, bro. I get it. Oh, he's got the weapons. Well, we got to get the weapons. We got to get the weapons. Canales was a wide receivers coach for a long time. He knows that talent. He knows the wide receiver. He knows how to coach wide receivers. He knows how to identify the talent. He was there with Lockett. He was there with DK Metcalf. He was there with Mike Evans. He was there with Godwin. So he knows. Now we got to get our guys. Those guys ain't on the roster right now, but we got to get them. We got to get them. But if he unlocks Bryce and he turns out to be the guy, we're in good shape, and we're gonna know over the next couple of years. And this it comes with this. This has to be said, and I'm sure David Tepper is learning his lesson with this. We got to give this man time. 5 games ain't enough. 1 season ain't enough. A season and a half ain't enough. 2 years, honestly, ain't enough. We got to see it out with this gentleman, Dave Canales. He's a young guy. He stuck to his, Dave Tepper stuck to his word. I want to have a guy that's going to be around to read the eulogy at my funeral. Canales is, I think, 42, I want to say. So he's a young guy. So Dave, you got to give my man time. And he did that with Matt Rule. So I'm sure and at the same time, Canales got to show progress. Canales got to show progress. So if Canales shows progress, then David Tepper is going to show patience, which could lead to us unlocking Bryce. There's a lot of things that has to happen, and I think we're on the right track. But I agree. Shout out to J-Rock. The game guy says also Bucs fans are pissed from what I've seen. Yes, I've seen that. Bucs fans are mad. Bucs fans talk about replacing Bowles with him. Yes, that's what my man said. That's what my guy said. Shout out to Larry. He told me that. He said, yo, Canales was the next man up, and y'all just gutted him. Y'all killed our plans. All these coaches are in their 40s, young and talented. Evero, he's talking about all these guys are in their 40s and talented. All right, so yeah, agreed there. A-Cash says, I wasn't able to catch the morning huddle before the Canales news came out. So if we're this close to hiring Canales, why the interview with Vrabel happened in the first place seems a bit of a waste of time. I don't know. I can't answer that question, but it's a great question, A-Cash. I have no idea. The question is, who will be the OC and what type of offense will they bring in? I don't know. I don't know the type. See, the thing about Canales is that he is going to mold his offense to who he has. He likes the run game, right? He likes the run game, but we're gonna find out. We got to dig into some research. We got to find out who those assistants are, because maybe a lot of Bucs assistants are gonna come. A lot of Bucs assistants may come to Carolina. You got to go look at who was in Seattle. We might get some Seattle folks. There's gonna be a lot of guys that come. That offensive room that we got is gone, bro. Guys like Sean Jefferson, those guys probably going to be out of here. So Bucs running back Rachaad White just tweeted no. Exactly. You gutted him. So going back to wide receivers, shout out to Conscious. He says Evans, Ridley, Higgins, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, all these guys. You got to get one of those guys. A-Cash says, we talking about Canales unlocking Bryce, but low-key, I'm excited to see him try unlock Mingo, considering Canales is a wide receiver background too. Agreed. And I'm sure when Canales was interviewed, that was part of the interview. What can you do with Bryce and Canales? Bryce and Mingo. Can you unlock these guys? Is the answer on the roster? I personally don't think so. I think part of it is on the roster, but the full answer is not on the roster. You keep Thielen, develop Mingo, and maybe bring in a Mike Evans, then we're cooking with grease. Then we're cooking. But you got to get a big wide receiver, a big name wide receiver, and fix the offensive line, put the offensive line in the best position to succeed. Real quick, Evero as DC, I certainly hope so. I certainly hope that he is the DC because I think that's the best combination moving forward. Evero, now the only thing we got is that Evero has been interviewing for head coaching jobs. So if he is hired as a head coach, then obviously he'll be gone. But if he doesn't get hired, then he should be back. And the twofold good news to that is that he would be our DC that provides some continuity on the defensive side of football, and he would also be around for another year, which in turn would give us a leg up when it comes to getting the comp picks if he is hired next year. You remember, to get a comp pick for a minority hire, you have to be on the team for 2 years. Evero has only been here for 1 year, so if it's hired off, we would not get a comp pick. If he stays around for 1 more year and he's hired off next year, we would get the comp picks. So that's how that works. Keep that in mind. But again, you gotta, when you're building a coaching staff, you have got to remember that you can keep, because everybody's going offensive mind. Because everybody's going offensive mind, it's very easy to keep your defensive coordinator for a longer period of time. I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Continuity. You're building continuity when you keep your defensive minds around. Teams ain't really hiring them like that. They're not hiring defensive minds like it happens. You get a couple of guys out there, but they're not really hiring. Everybody's going young OC, including us. Everybody's going young OC. So if everybody going young OC, there's no defensive jobs available, which means you can keep your guys, which keeps continuity. There's some really good defensive coordinators out there not getting head coach jobs, including Evero. You know what I mean? So again, I like this. I like the Canales hire. I think it was the most optimistic. I think it was the best case scenario for the Carolina Panthers. Now it's a risk. It's a risk. I would be remiss if I would be lying to y'all if I said this was a home run. I would be lying. I would be a bold-faced liar if I sat up here and said this was a home run. Because it's not a home run. It's not a home run pick. It's not a home. We're not knocking out the park. You know what I mean? I don't think any hire that you make would have been a home. I think Harbaugh would have been the only home run for me. Harbaugh would have been the only home run hit for me. So there is some risk that comes along with this. And my man Carlos said it's not a home run, but at least we on first base. It's a base hit. I agree. At least we not at plate, bro. At least we not striking out. I do think we at least have at least we on base. You know what I mean? Now we need to definitely get somebody to drive it home, right? We need somebody to drive it home. Shout out to Double O Kane. Ben Johnson is going to Washington, bro. I firmly believe he's going to Washington. That's just my opinion, but I think he's going to go to Washington. Conscious says only 28 million in space according to Over the Cap. We can clear that up. We can clean up some space. I ain't too worried about that. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried about that. Sorry, I got to respond to a text real quick. Sorry. But yeah, again, Maybe we can get a cat video. Yeah, I'll get a cat video out at some point. I'll get a cat video out at some point. But we could clear up cat space. I'm not overly concerned about that. I think the next step is for the Carolina Panthers is figuring out your cap guy, because Samir Suleiman, which we did not talk about on Tuesday, is no longer here. So I still think they're working on Brant Tillis, who comes from Kansas City. You're trying to fill out that front office, and I think that's the next step. So we got to get some contracts squared away. You got to figure out what you're doing with Brian Burns, and that's the plus side to having a guy like Dan Morgan around. That's the plus side of having Dan Morgan, because he's familiar with the contracts, he's familiar with the individuals, he's familiar with especially if Evero stays around. Now you know what Evero needs from a personnel standpoint. It makes the decisions that much easier. So I agree with. Listen, are these guys the best hires out there on paper? No, but I can point to positives for Dan Morgan. I can point to positives for Canales. I can point to positives for bringing in Tillis. I can point to positives for everything. You know what I mean? I'm not just one of those guys that's going to be doom and gloom. There are some positives out there, and I think they must be pointed out. They must be pointed out. Okay? 750 people in the building watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I think we should get Vic Fangio as DC. That's not happening. I think he's the front runner to go to Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to go there. So let me explain for the last time. Let me explain the Evero situation. Okay? Evero is under contract for the Carolina Panthers. He's under contract for the Carolina Panthers. The only way Evero is released from said contract is if he's hired as a head coach elsewhere. Or two, Dave Canales says, I don't want him as my defensive coordinator. I personally think that this is a gut feeling for me. I have no sources. I'm just talking right now. I personally think Canales went up into that interview and said, yeah, man, I like that guy Evero, man. I had to go up against him twice a year. He was tough. He held me to 9 points. He's good. I'm gonna keep him around. So I think that Evero is gonna stay around, bro. I think they're gonna work that out. And I think as long as Evero is not plucked elsewhere, that Evero is gonna stay as head coach. As defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. But again, he has to go through his interviews. I think he did an interview with the Falcons, a second-round interview. I think he got interviewed with Seattle too. So everything is still to be seen. It's to be seen. Shout out to the Rams. Rams in the building. But yeah, I don't know. Exactly. Can't beat him, join him. Exactly. He only put up 9 points against on that Evero defense. You know what I mean? So, hey, that's real recognizing real at that point. That is real recognizing real. So we'll see. Bro, and no, there is zero chance that Thomas Brown's the OC. I've said this a couple times. Zero chance. Shout out to the Rams. Hit the like button. Adam, I got you. I'm coming back to the super chat right now. Coming back to the super chats. My bad. It's a lot coming in. All right, Adam. I can't forgive me if I say your last name wrong. Adam Pop says, I see a higher upside with Canales than Vrabel. It's just all in your perspective. Canales is best for Bryce. You know the saying, what's best for business? Shout out to the WWE fans. What's best for business? That ain't necessarily what's best for business. This is what's best for Bryce. We standing on Bryce right now. You know what I mean? This is all about Bryce Young and putting him in the best position to succeed. That's what this hire is about, period. And if it's not right, guess what? In 2 or 3 years, you walk away from Bryce and you walk away from Canales. You got another clean slate. You know what I mean? So, All right, so let me see if I get some more super chats. What did I miss? I got the Vic Fangio joint. Oh, I got it. I think I got everything. Got all the super chats. My apologies. Um, let me see. Yeah, but again, I like this hire. I think it's a good hire. I might bring some folks in. I might bring some folks in. Let me see what y'all think. I'm gonna get the people's thoughts. Let me see if y'all could come in. Let me get this link shared and see if y'all want to come in to give y'all thoughts very quickly regarding Dave Canales. Let's talk to the people for a second. Let's hear what this is. The People's Podcast. This is the People Nation Podcast. You know what I mean? For the people. Let me see. 202 people away from 22,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button too, by the way. 202 people away. Let's make that happen. Let's make that happen. Let me get y'all in here. Give me 1 second. Gotta turn monetization on real quick. Yeah, I mean, gotta get that right. All right, let me see. All right, so I just put the link in the description or in the chat. Pin comment. Let me pin it. I didn't pin it. It's the pin chat, the pin message in the chat. All right, if y'all want to come through, I'm gonna give y'all a quick 30-second. You give you a 30-second pitch on whether you love or hate Canales. And matter of fact, I'll put a poll up as well. You start a poll right quick. One second. All right, so I got a poll up too as well. So you got the pin message in the chat if you want to join the stream, and I got a poll up as well. All right, so let's get a couple people in here. KD, what's good with you, man? Oh, KD is still trying to figure it out. Oh, nope. Let me get Greer in here. Greer, what's good with you, man?
Oh, not too much, man. Can you hear me?
He just fine.
Yeah. Well, I've run out of optimism. I can't get hyped like I did last year again. I just can't do it. It just feels like we were either not an option or not interested in the top candidates this cycle for one reason or another. Find it really hard to believe Sportsology wouldn't have us at least talk to Jim Harbaugh. It seems like a Tepper steering the ship kind of move to me. I was kind of re-optimized when I'm not sure if that's a word, when Vrabel was supposed to come in today, but I'm not sure if did we actually interview him or did we snub him? Like, did he fly into Charlotte? I better hope he doesn't go to a team. If he goes to Atlanta and he flew into Charlotte today and just got snubbed, we're gonna have a real fun time playing him twice a year.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened with Vrabel. Like he may have gotten interviewed this morning, and they kind of just made the hire from there. I don't know. I have no idea.
So
no clue.
I don't know. I'm still going to support the team 100%. I'm still going to be in my seat for 8 home games next year. Probably not going to fly to Germany, but I'll be there for the 8 games here in Charlotte. I'm going to be loud on defense, and Canales is an unknown. He could be great. So I'm not saying this stinks. We're going to continue to suck. Like this is
you're
kind of the mold of
what you are. What you are is scarred. You're a scarred fan. You don't know whether it's good. We've done so much dirt in the past that you don't know whether to be excited or not. And I respect that. I'm kind of the same way. It's like you don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. I see the good and I see the bad for this. So yeah, a lot of fans feel that way. They don't know how to feel because we've been done dirty so much. But yeah, I feel you.
But I'm going to keep pounding. So everybody else who's going to be there next year, hey, it's another new chapter. So hopefully this one's better than the last.
I agree. Thank you for joining. Got to get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Yep. All right, Too Busy. What's good with you?
What up? What up?
What's going on? How you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. I just want to say this. I agree with you that a home run would have been Jim Harbaugh for me as well. But at this point, I have tempered expectations. Just tempered. I mean, I'm not too high. I'm not too low. I'm not really optimistic. I'm just gonna just say this: results. I just want to see improvement and results. That's all. I'm not gonna hype him up. I'm not gonna go in the background. Oh, this, and that. What he can do. We did that with the past couple of hires, and I feel like sometimes we've, as a fan base, set the bar kind of high at times, and I think we just need to stay at a steady pace here. Look at what he does well. Look at what he hasn't done well. And hopefully he improves. And I just want to see some culture. I just want to see improvement from Bryce week to week, like how Green Bay has with Jordan Love, right? Week to week, he got better and better and better, right? So that's all I want to see out of Bryce is them getting better. I just want to see him making smart moves with personnel along with Dan Morgan. I just want to see smart moves and getting better. That's it. That might be a buzzkill for everybody, but I'm not going to go too high. And I want the fan base to know, guys, if things don't go right away, please do not say, fire the coach, fire the GM, get Bryce out of here. Bro, our beloved Cam, for some of y'all who love Cam, I love Cam, and he said it take 3 years for a quarterback to develop, y'all. If you love Cam and you're one of those, get Bryce out of here. 3 years. We got to give him 3 years, man.
Yeah.
Before we can even kick somebody out. He's a rookie. He's going to be in his second year. Let's not kick him out, and let's give this coach and GM 1 or 2 years to see what they can do. And that's it. I'm done.
I agree. No, I appreciate that's really good commentary. I think a lot of Panthers fans feel that way. But yeah, I agree with the patience thing, man. But you can't, because people be so the thing with this, and especially on Twitter or X, whatever we call it, people just want to be right. Like, people want to be right so bad that they just, I told y'all, man, this guy sucks. And so as soon as we go out there and we lose week 1, it's going to be all these people trying to circle the wagon saying we told you so. And we got to get away from that. We got to exercise some patience here. If we sitting here talking about Dave Tepper needs to show patience, then we as a fan base need to show some patience as well. So I completely agree with that. Completely agree. Yeah. All right. So I got to go to the next. We got a couple people behind you. So appreciate you jumping on as usual with your great insight, and hope to hear from you later.
All right, peace.
All right, thank you. Bass guy, what's good?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
So for starters, I want to say I got onto the show kind of around last season, so I definitely appreciate the content that you guys do. Mm-hmm. As for the hire, I'm pretty much in that opinion of everyone else. Not too hyped, but not like overly down on it. It just kind of it is what it is at this point. Pretty much, with how the team has been these past couple of years, the 5-win seasons, now the 2-win seasons, not having a quarterback. The only thing I could just hope for right now is that Canales is the guy that can, help unlock Bryce Young. I know it's going to be tough getting like weapons around him, just getting the right supporting cast around him too, given like we have very limited assets. So it's going to be interesting to see what we could be able to develop. But it's more of like it is what it is at this point. If there's just some improvement, hey, I'm all for it. But right now it's just more like is what it is type of thing for me, at least.
Yeah, man, that's 3 for 3. Everybody's kind of like, all right, it's cool, but we gotta wait and see. I respect that. At least you giving him an opportunity, right? At least you're not all doom and gloom like this sucks. I mean, at least you're giving him opportunity to prove himself, and I think that's important. So yeah, man, shout out to you, man. Anything else you want to add before we go to the next person?
No, that's pretty much it. Just want to say again, appreciate the content, guys.
Hey, man.
Boys been going hard in the work. Guys,
Hey,
can't talk. Yeah,
No,
you
go
guys
ahead.
been going hard in the paint. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the listen, man. Appreciate that support.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Thank you, man. Alex, what's good with you, man?
Yo, what's good, Shy? How you doing, man?
I'm chilling, bro.
Good. Yeah, like you said, everyone's got the doom and gloom, man. Number one, I think the expectations was way too high. It's not that like Carolina is the best opportunity spot for any head coach. I mean, any head coach that would have had to come into our predicament ain't got no first round pick, got to deal with a meddling Tepper, and got to rebuild the whole offense. So personally, I think we got away with a steal, and Dave Canales is in my top three. He's between Ben Johnson, the hot commodity that everybody wanted, Bobby Slowick, the second hot commodity everybody wanted after he was doing the whole interview thing with everybody and saying he wasn't going to interview with nobody and all that jazz. But I think the biggest thing that everyone's missing, this is the first time in decades that we've had a GM and a head coach on the same page. The first time in decades. And I think that speaks volume on itself.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. This is the first time we brought in, under the Tepper era specifically, is the first time we've ever brought in a GM and a coach in the same coaching in the same hiring cycle. So this is a positive. And again, we got to take our baby steps, our baby wins.
Absolutely.
And this is just a small, again, that is a small victory in itself, hiring these guys at the same time. All right, Alex, you got anything else you want to add?
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate the stream, man.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Be good.
All right, man. Alex, what's good with you, man? Excuse me, Adam. What's good with you, man?
Hey, Rashad.
How's it
You hear
going?
me? Yeah,
just fine.
doing good. It's already dark over here in Germany. It's almost bedtime. No, not that late.
Shout
but
out to Germany. Germany in the house. Hey, look, I was trying to get Germany on a couple weeks ago, and nobody showed up. Well, we got Germany in the building. Shout out to Adam, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Yeah. So my thoughts are basically that I'm really happy that we didn't choose Rabel, because somehow I had the feeling it was Frank Reich 2.0. So that we're doing the same mistake again. Someone who got recently fired, and we pick him up to give him a chance. But I know the people talk about culture, but how do you define culture? That's always a big question, in my opinion.
They can't define culture. That's what I've been asking too. What does culture mean? So I agree with that's a great point. Continue. My apologies.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think Canales is at the point where Ben Johnson was 1 year ago, and everybody was hyped on Ben Johnson last year already. So I see it. I'm happy. I'm not hyped. I'm happy. We will see. I think we have a big chance that we made something good, but like always, there's also a chance that we made a shot too early. But yeah, I'm kind of happy, and now I'm really curious what kind of coaching stuff they will establish around him, and I hope that Ivero stays.
Agreed. I agree with everything you said. And the good news, Adam, is that, man, you're gonna get to see him up close and personal next year in Germany. It's gonna be great.
Definitely.
I'm gonna be there, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I hope we can meet in person over there in Munich. For here in Germany, it will be really tough to get some tickets because there are already 400,000 people in the line to get tickets. Wow. 400,000. So I don't know if I will be lucky. I try my best, but even though I already decided that if I don't get some tickets, I will come to the stadium just to catch the vibe. Man, their first time my team is in my country, so I will go there for sure.
Damn, that's awesome, man. That's gonna be a great feeling. That is gonna be a great feeling. I'm gonna be there with you. Really we got to link up if I get out there for sure. So
definitely.
Once the details are released, I'll be sure to let you know where I'm gonna be and all that good stuff.
Yeah, great. And I really enjoy the show since 5 years now. Keep it up.
You've been watching that long? You've been watching for 5 years?
That long.
Man,
I'm
I
there.
appreciate that.
Oh no, maybe it's 4. The moment we signed Matt Rule, That was since then
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
with the show. It's
Gotcha.
4 years then. Four then, yeah. But
That's awesome.
I really enjoy it always. When I wake up in the morning, I know in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, you made a live stream. So in the morning when I take my breakfast and I watch the live stream back. So I really enjoy it. Thanks. Keep up the good work.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Adam, man.
Bye bye.
I see you soon, man.
We see each other soon. Bye.
All right, thank you. Carlos, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
I'm good.
Good. So this is actually my first time ever watching you. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, man, welcome. Hey,
So-
welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. You've missed out on a lot of good content. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure I have.
We like
I've seen
top tier, bro. You missed out on a lot. You now what you gotta do is you gotta go back and look at all the good interviews we've done with Steve Smith Sr.
Yep.
Like, it's a lot of good stuff. Go watch everything. But welcome to the family. I appreciate you.
It's actually funny you mentioned that. That's actually how I found you, was through an interview that you had done with Steve Smith in the past, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And when your stream popped up today, I was like, oh, let me just pop in and see what this is like. So it's been good so far, man. So I actually subscribed today, and I'm gonna keep up from here on out.
I appreciate that. What's your thoughts on this hire?
Yeah, man. So as far as this hire goes, I think Alex earlier hit the nail on the head. Honestly, it's the first time that we hired a GM and a head coach together, so it's a good sign. You can't really pin, like in the past, we've had so many issues with kind of doors turning with a GM in, then you hire another head coach, which is a huge issue in my opinion. That it really, you can't align your vision unless you let the GM do his job and hire the head coach that he sees fit in that position. But overall, I'm pretty positive on the Dave Canales hire, primarily because of the history that him and Dan have, and it also, to me, it kind of shows that like we don't really have, like, our meddling owner essentially is kind of loosening the leash a little bit, and maybe this is like the first signal that Dan is actually going to be making the bulk of the personnel decisions rather than anyone else, if that makes sense. But yeah, my curiosity now is just driven towards like the OC situation, because I don't think Thomas Brown, like you said, is going to be the guy that sticks around. So I'm very curious as to who he's going to bring on to run the offense. I'm assuming it's probably going to be somebody from the Bucs that comes in and handles that situation as well. And really, the other thing on my mind is really the cap situation. I think I don't think that there's enough to be able to cover all the holes that we're going to have once the season or the offseason truly kicks off. So that's really where I'm at right now. But overall, like the hire itself, I think it's a solid hire. I think he's proven that he's capable of working with all types of quarterbacks and pretty much a system kind of. He molds a system around who he's working with, essentially, and it seems to have been successful so far.
Yeah, so I have a lot of cat videos, by the way. So when you're going through your P&P research, there's a lot of cat videos in there, and to describe how we can get out of our little hole that we're in. It's not bad. It's not as bad as it appears. I think we're gonna end up freeing a lot of cap and be able to make some moves. So I think we're fine there. But and he brought up another point with the staff. I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking at the Bucs staff right now, and I believe there's going to be some guys plucked off of this roster from the coaching staff. So we'll see what happens, but I think that's going to happen. But again, I appreciate the call. Got to move on, man. Let me bring in. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm all good. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you letting me on.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
That's it.
All right, Chester, what's good, man?
Hey, man, how you guys doing?
I'm good. You kind of low, bro. You kind of low. We can hardly hear you. We can hear you, but it's low.
Can you hear me? Oh man. How about now?
Just go ahead. It's cool. We can hear you. I'll repeat what you say. It's all good. Go ahead.
Oh. All right. I just wanted to say, been a fan of Joe, and in terms of the hires, I'm excited about Dave Canales. I'm excited about Dan Morgan. I don't know how he thinks our offensive line, because like I'm like, I watch the show all the time, and so every time you guys give out the offensive line grades, I'm just basically like kind of sick over that. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping he turns around the offensive line, and I hope he keeps things going, and I hope we keep getting the skilled guys that we need. But I'm very excited about the hire.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, that's good stuff, man. I think the offensive line is definitely gonna be something we need to fix. And I appreciate you jumping on. Looks like you out here delivering packages, I want to say. But drive safe out there, bro. Be careful out in these streets.
Yeah.
I gotta move.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I gotta move on from and get one last call in here. But I appreciate you jumping in. Don't worry about the offense. I think the offensive line is gonna get reshuffled, but we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, man. See you later, dude. All right, Jay Simp. What's good, man?
Oh boy, I'm at work,
Duke,
so
Duke, man, with the Duke shirt on.
I went to UNC. They just paid my bills.
I know,
So,
but I'm saying you got the Duke joint on. That's
I'm
why I
at
was
work.
still
I'm at
confused.
work, bro. I don't.
Okay,
listen,
got you.
I know a lot of positivity coming in. I've seen it. That's fine. I ain't with that. I'm what does the record say type guy, and the record says you below average, bro. You quoted the tweet and said you have some thoughts on it, and I'm just looking at it here. 20th in total offense, 23rd in yards per game, 20th in yards per play, 14th in net yards per attempt, 16th in scoring, 32nd in rushing, 32nd in rushing yards per attempt. There are 32 teams in the NFL. 32. That means the league average is 16. You have one offensive stat as an offensive coordinator. You're above league average. One. How do you get moved to the top of a coaching list? The only reason is because Dan's the guy. That's it. Let's just keep a buck. Let's keep a spade. A week ago, before Dan was officially announced, that's when we started hearing this Dave Canales thing. And then we find out who's in these meetings. And we know it's like, it's Jim Caldwell, it's one guy from the sports thing, it's Dan, it's somebody, right? And that's when we heard the Dave Canales rumblings. Before then, we didn't hear his name. Mm-hmm. How are you a young offensive coordinator and you're supposed to be like future projecting, right? The only team that's interested in you is the worst team in the league? The only one. Nobody else gave him a call. Atlanta didn't give him a call. Washington didn't give him a call. Nobody gave this man a call except us? Come on, bro. Like, listen, let me just first say I'm rooting for it, just like I'm rooting for Bryce, because this is my favorite sport. This is my favorite team. I'm invested in this way more than I should be because I'm at work right now and I'm on this stream talking to you. Mm-hmm. Overly invested. I want this to work. But if you're asking me my opinion and I evaluate it, the NFL is the ultimate meritocracy. The ultimate meritocracy. What you do is who you are. And his resume says below league average. His resume says mid. And this whole thing about, well, we couldn't get the best candidate. There are only 32 jobs, bro. There's only 32 of them. We're going to get somebody good if we want somebody. So and it's just like I'm not saying I didn't think we were going to get Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson has the ability to say no because he went back and did another year and proved to double down on himself to increase his potential.
But I didn't think he was going to get just to push back on your, because you said there's 32 jobs, we can get who we want. Well, what about those guys that decide that they don't want to come here like Ben Johnson did last year? Right. And Bobby Slowick this year, it appears that this way he's more, I don't know about it. So we can't just get anybody we want. Like that's not how it works. When you're as bad as we have been and your owner is meddling, you cannot get the tier A guys. Exactly. Which, if you remember a couple of years ago, why I said we should not fire Rule after, I think it was year 2. I said, we gave the man a 7-year contract. We fire him after 2 years. We're not getting quality candidates. You have to prove, hey, it's not me in ownership. It's the coach. And then you'll continue to get quality coaching candidates. I don't know if you remember that conversation we had a couple of years ago. I can't remember that. But, my point being, you may not get the cream of the crop, the Harbaugh, even though you may not get Ben Johnson. But you just said there's 32 jobs, so we're gonna get somebody though. We went to tier D, bro. Like we went to the dude that nobody else even interviewed. But nobody interviewed Mike McDaniel either, bro. There's always like, listen, I get it. I get the frustration. And we can. I mean, Mike McDaniel, you're talking about stats, right? You talk about 30-second. That's true. Well, the facts are the facts. But Mike McDaniel didn't have no stats. He didn't call plays at all before he got sick.
But at least he came from a proven coaching tree. That was the thing. Was everybody was picking off McVay's tree.
Fair.
So
Fair.
I was like, I agree with you. I think it's hard to evaluate some of these dudes.
Pete Carroll not proven.
Especially when you, I'm sorry, what?
Pete Carroll not a proven coaching tree.
I think as much, huh?
He's a Super Bowl champ. Should have been 2-time Super Bowl champ.
Again, it's like, but who's getting credit there?
What you
like?
mean?
We saw Pete Carroll. So you saw Dan Quinn go to Atlanta, and he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're seeing this dude go to the Bucs. And so is he part of Pete Carroll's coaching tree? Is he part of Todd Bowles' coaching tree? I don't know how you evaluate that. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, true, fair enough. Yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, I'm trying to think of Pete Carroll's coaching tree. The only thing I can think of is Dan Quinn off the top of my head in recent years.
I was just pointing that out. I don't know. But I listen. I get your point. I get your point about the stats. The stats are the stats. But ultimately, you look at the results. Right. And the results, if we're going to talk about stats, don't also ignore what he did with Geno. Like, and again, I'm not saying.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Because and my opinion on this is very different from Noli. So there's going to be some differences here.
Yeah.
I say, let's add the context. Geno Smith, we look up the stats, more or less the same. He played in all 17 games last year, only played in 15 games this year. He did have more touchdowns last year. He had more yards last year, but again, he missed 2 games this year. When you add those 2 games back in, it's about the same. He probably overproduced last year compared to this year. When we talk about Baker, outside of his time in Carolina, Baker's been a quality quarterback. Has he been lived up to the number 1 pick potential? No. But are there 20? He's in the 18 to 22 range of quarterbacks, depending on how he's playing. And he played like that in Cleveland. He came to Carolina. He had to play for a trash coach in Matt Rule. He went out to LA, immediately looked better, went over to the Bucs and looked like Baker. So to me, everybody's talking about, oh, I love what he did with Baker. I love what he did with Geno. To me, it's a push for both of them.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. Here's where I get when you talk about those guys. Because ultimately, what you want your quarterback to be is you want your quarterback to not be the reason you lost, right? So when you talk about improvement for these guys, also you got to take into account the wins and losses, right? So the turnaround doesn't just apply to a statistic standpoint, which I agree. The stats are the stats. I completely agree with you there. But how did the team fare? So a lot of the success that Canales is does he get that same the same boat of confidence if the Bucs didn't make the playoffs, right? I don't think it's there. Like, so you're starting to see, because the team is successful. The team was successful when Geno took over. The team was successful when he took over with the Bucs were successful. Like, so I think the team success is also attractive and a reason as to why Canales is getting a better look out here from these from Carolina specifically. Not everybody, because we're obviously the only people that interviewed him, but I think that's why he got the look.
I see league average to below league average, even when you add that in. Like the what was Seattle last year? 9-8. They were 8-7 this year. Push, but the Bucs, they played in the worst division in football. They scored 9 points in a week 18. Winning you're in against us. We watched that game.
We got a good defense.
But if he's the guy that you say he is, and we have no offensive
what did I say he was?
What
did I say he was? What did I say he was? Though?
No, I'm saying in general, like not you specifically. I'm saying in general, he's the up and coming offensive guru, the quarterback whisperer.
Okay, fair. Okay, so let's stop right there. Because the facts are, you're right. The history is short, right? He doesn't have a long history. So could it be that he is on his way up? Like, could we be getting him at a point to where he's still evolving, right? And maybe not this year, but maybe the year after that he peaks. maybe he's not the finished product he's gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I'll give you that.
Is it
I'll give you that.
is it could
I'll give you that. That's all I'm saying is it's a gamble, it's a bet. And I even put on our Twitter, I said in 2 to 3 years, we'll be doing one of two things. We'll be fighting for playoff contention, or we'll be looking for a new coach and a new quarterback.
I agree. And I said that earlier on this. I said the same thing on the stream. I said, because listen, if things go well, like you're saying, in 2 years, we'll be fighting for the division in the playoffs, and we're great. The positive thing too is that we can also marry these two together. And if things don't go right, then we can them both. We move on from the quarterback and the coach. So I mean, that applies to anybody's situation, really. But I'm just pointing that out. That you are right. You're absolutely right in that. You're all right.
Look, I gotta go. I appreciate the time. I ain't trying to be no negative Nancy.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm passionate.
I like your opinions, because they're not your opinions are not just a feeling. Like that you come with facts. And so, and I like the pushback. I like the outside thinking that you do, because everything is not always the right. I'm not always right. I'll just be up here talking sometimes. I'm wrong a lot. You know what I mean? So it's good to hear outside opinions and people come in and push back a little bit. So I appreciate that. And the people need to hear that.
All right, bro. Be good, man.
All right, man. Go Duke. I'm messing with you. What's good, Justin? How's it going, man? I can't hear you, bro. Nope, I still can't hear you. All right, it's all good. Take your time. Take your time. Turn it. We'll get you right. But check those mic settings. But yeah, man, I think Jay Simp, he had some great points. Jay Simp has some great points. Again, the stats are the stats. We can't refute the stats. Okay, are you good, Justin? Oh, nope, still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. But yeah, I think the stats are the stats. Jay Simp is right. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Is it mid? Is he mid? Yeah, but he also could still be improving. He's only there for 1 year. Canales is only in Tampa Bay for 1 year. He has a short stint at offensive coordinator and calling plays. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Justin, you good? Nope. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. It's all good, man. You'll get it right. You'll get it right. But yeah, man. I think this is a decent hire. And again, we gotta exercise patience. There we go. I think I hear you now. You got it. There you go.
What's going on, man?
What's good, Justin? How you feeling, man?
So he had some good points. I was feeling a little optimistic, but he brought me down a little bit. I do understand those folks towards the beginning that said they're scarred. But this is a new chapter, so I want to be a little optimistic towards that. I like what Alex and Adam had to say about bringing in the GM and the coach for the first time. I think that was a really good point. I think that's going to make a huge difference. There'll be the continuity there that we're looking for. I think keeping Evero around is essential, obviously. But I do want to point out that Canales is, like, as you said, I think he was the best option from the start. Obviously, everybody wants Ben Johnson. I think Canales was the best because, as you said, he's the best for Bryce. And we have no choice. The past is a past. We're married to Bryce. We drafted him. Mm-hmm. He's here for 3 years, 4 years, 3 more years.
3 more years and 1 more if everything goes right.
Yeah. So he's, for a minimum, he's here for 3 years. So we're married to him. I like Bryce. I think he's going to be a lot better than what he was. I'm hoping. And I think the best track to do that is Canales. I think he'll help unlock Bryce's potential. I think he might, as someone said in the chat earlier, unlock Mingo's potential. And like you were saying before, he was a wide receiver coach. He knows what a good wide receiver is. He knows what we need to help scheme people open. Maybe we'll get something out of Miles Sanders since we've dumped all this cap space into him. Who knows? I don't know, but I think that's the best option. I think Canales is probably the best path forward in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Of the 4 guys, if you're going to include Vrabel, I think that Canales was best for Bryce, right? And again, I'm going to stand by that. Like you said, your point is valid. 3 years at least we're stuck with Bryce Young and hopefully with Canales. Whether things go good or bad, I think that these two guys, Bryce and Canales, need to be stuck together for at least the next 3 years so we can figure out if we got a guy or not. And next year is going to be a little rough. It's going to be his first year here. It would be great if we struck lightning, like, and everything takes off. I'm not expecting that. I hope for it, but I'm not expecting that. Yeah, I mean, I hope we have a great free agency where we can bring in some good wide receivers, fix this offensive line, and maybe we can start to get a little bit of encouragement. But I think we got to see what happens. We got to be a little patient. So
I think the other important thing to mention is everybody wants those Fangio coaching trees and the McVay coach. Everybody's worried about coaching trees. First of all, Evero is from the McVay Fangio coaching tree, and he's good. Canales, I don't really care what kind of offensive coaching tree he's from, because I want him to develop this offense. I want him to create his coaching tree. I think Ben was his name from the Keep Purring podcast you guys had on last weekend.
Yep.
He made a really good point about Canales and the way that he coaches and the way that he schemes for defenses is he's reactive. He doesn't go into a week saying we're going to run the ball or we're going to throw the ball or, we're going to rely on special teams or turnovers. He goes into a defense and he takes what they give him. That's a Mike McDaniels kind of thing. You watch the Dolphins, and there's weeks when Tyreek Hill has 300 yards. I mean, this season he had more, but more often. But there's weeks when he has 280 yards, and then there's weeks when, they run the ball the whole game. The A-Chain's got 5 touchdowns. It's like I like coaches like that can scheme.
Right, and one of the biggest criticisms, especially from Dave, and I don't know why Dave doesn't like this. Canales is not Dave's top pick. And all Dave does is he gets up here and he talks about adjustments. And you got to have a guy that's going to be able to go out and adjust when it gets punched in the mouth. And I think Canales, like you're saying, he does just that. He's going to scheme. The offense is not going to look the same every week. We're not going to have a Frank Reich situation where you're square peg and round hole guys, i.e. Miles Sanders, where you're putting him in a situation where it's just not working. We tried to force this run game. It just wasn't it. Oh. It wasn't working. And so now you got Canales in here who's going to, again, accentuate the strengths of the offensive line and scheme based on the opponent. That's exactly what we need here in Carolina. And it's the biggest gripe we've had, even with Matt Rule, how Matt Rule would never adjust during halftime. Had the worst second half offense in the league under Matt Rule. We weren't scoring any points in the fourth quarter. I can't remember the stat, but it wasn't good. And so now you come in with Canales, and hopefully we get that stuff fixed. And we got to get the personnel too, because just so we have Canales does not mean all will be fixed. True. We have to fix the personnel. So
we'll see Mike Evans type.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a possibility, man. We'll see. It's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, that's about it. Last thing I gotta say, Rashad, y'all got to get another live show coming.
Oh yeah, man.
Live show is crazy. Yeah. We need.
You were there?
Yeah, I was
there.
Were
you there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. Yeah,
that was dope. We need another one of those.
Yeah, we'll do another one. I got to figure out when, but we will definitely have another live show. Hopefully here soon. But it'll be great.
Yes, sir. All right, you have a good one, bro. Appreciate
you. All
right,
man. I appreciate you, man. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's show, man. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe. I'm sure Dave is going to come in here and have something to say here soon. He might go live this evening. I don't know. I have no idea what Dave plans to do, but if he doesn't, you will get his thoughts live on Tuesday, where we will talk about the hiring or the proposed hiring. We don't know. I haven't seen any of the local folks tweet it or retweet it yet. I haven't seen Joe Person. He may have done it now, but I haven't seen it from Joe Person just yet. But Rapoport reports it, so I believe it's true. Dave Canales, the next head coach of the Carolina Panthers. We'll see what happens. All right. RG3 says Dave Canales is a spectacular hire by the Carolina Panthers, specifically Bryce Young. Canales helped relaunch the careers of Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield in back-to-back years by building offense around their strengths in a West Coast scheme. Excited to see Bryce Young work. Yep. And Joe Person has tweeted Dave Canales becomes the Panthers head coach, or the second Hispanic head coach after Ron Rivera. So that's interesting. He's going to be the only Hispanic coach in the NFL today because Ron Rivera is no longer a head coach. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Hit that like button, subscribe button on the way out. I'm getting out of here, man. I will holler at y'all, I don't know, sometime later this week. We'll see what happens, man. But we up out of here. Latino Heat. That's funny. We'll be up out of here, man. I'm out. Peace.